All right. What's up, everybody? Today we have Skarekrow in the house, and I've been knowing him for, I don't know, 15 years or some shit. Way too long.
Long.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Crow, Scarecrow. Been making music since like 2004, 2005, something like that. And yeah, about to hear kick it with my homeboy Riplak.
Hell yeah, we've
Because I
been
know
through a lot of
everybody.
shit together, man. Gun
Fuck yeah.
threats, all kinds of shit. I don't know when you weren't getting threatened. I don't know. But I know I took all the downhill shit that came from that. But you're my homie, so I didn't care.
Everybody always blocked you before they even blocked me. Like, fuck Crow. All right, no, Riplak's blocked.
Yo, I didn't have to say anything. They already knew I'd be at them.
That shit was funny.
Yo, I know
Walking.
back in the day when we met you, I know NDK and I came to like the gallery or some bar. You and Slit, and I think Par was there, and you guys had just like stacks of demos, and you were out there, you were having fun, but you're also pushing your shit. And like everywhere I've seen you, you were always on that, and that inspired us to get on that more often.
That
And,
was the bachelorette party came
oh,
through.
yep. Mm-hmm.
Remember, we looked on we looked over at the dance floor and we seen like 30 single chicks all dancing with a CD in their hand up in the air.
Yeah.
Like they were like, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, beautiful sight.
It was.
Like two of
Truly.
them became fans, but whatever.
So you were in the group UGV, and you had invited us to come do a show with you. We saw you guys had like everything, like choreography, and like you had a whole show. Like everybody was getting into it. You guys are like, what was it? Sweet dreams are made of these. What was it?
Yep.
How did the rest go? Cocaine. What was it?
Sweet dreams are made of these cocaine, shrooms, weed, and ecstasy.
Yeah. And then we seen you guys like getting everybody just even that before that you're doing party songs, and then you guys did that. Like the place went nuts too. And we were like, man, we gotta get on that level as the takeover, like a group. That's how we
Yep.
got better, because we watched you and watched the reactions you got. You guys pulled fans. I was going around town seeing people with UGV shirts on. I'm like, oh, you're Crow's friend, huh? And they're like, who? And like they were actual legitimate fans out there. Like people
Right.
did, and it happened a lot. And like so we ended up kicking our game up because of you guys, and like you guys brought people in. And I mean, show was crazy back then.
It was fun back then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I ran into that a few times. There was a time I was in actually like right there, kind of on the Rock Island Milan border, and I seen this little red car go by, and they had a red UGV sticker in the back.
Mm.
So fucking, we pulled up at the stop sign, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I'm honking, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up, yo?" This dude looks over, he's giving me this most fucked up, dirty look, like, "Who the fuck is this motherfucker?" And I'm like, "Damn, he don't even know." Like he
Yep.
got my sticker and he didn't even know. I was
Yeah.
like, "All right."
Yeah, I mean, I just ran
Yeah.
into a dude too, like a couple nights ago when I was doing that Adler show at Soul True, and oh yeah, and I'm like, oh, you know him? Like, no, but I heard of him and his music. He liked his music and everything. I like that shit. Because it's different when like you just grow up somewhere and people know you, but like when you go out of city, like you go, like when we were doing shows, like we would have to split the crew up because like we were just you were here, I was here, and like people in all those cities started knowing us and shit. Like, but you don't want to travel. You don't want to travel in Scarekrow's car. Tell him why.
So there was like this period of time where every fucking car I got into broke down.
Mm-hmm.
Like we broke down on the way to St. Louis. We got stuck in St. Louis. I mean,
Gang
it's a
of
good thing we had
motherfuckers.
people.
We had a squad in
Yeah.
that house. There was like 12 of us in one room, just like trying to sleep, calling people to come get us, like from
Like,
well, what was it, 4 hours away. And then the
yeah, we were
time like
like,
we went to Kansas City for the Strange Music show.
I completely lost my car for that.
Yeah,
Thank
we
God
had
for
a
EK. And
packed car.
then Yup. I
That
was like,
time.
hold on, just stop. We pulled the car over on the side of the road, and I was like, just let me grab the
Mm-hmm.
UG banner, and that's pretty much all we need. And fucking, we took right back off to go do the show.
Man,
Uh,
the time at Clinton, when my brakes completely went out.
Car in Clinton.
Yep. Drove off the road with my car just barreling forward.
It got to the point where there were artists that were like, "Yeah, I'll go do the show with you, man, but I ain't getting in the same fucking car." And it makes it worse because I've always kind of felt like I was gonna die in a car crash or something. Like just growing up, I always had
Yeah.
weird little dreams about, getting in car crashes and waking up. And yeah, so that was nerve-wracking for a while. Fun as shit, but it was nerve-wracking, definitely.
Yeah, so earlier, like we popped on a little bit, and you were complimenting my hat. So you're a big Eagles fan, or like? All right. Oh, he got it. I just got sick, bro. Oh shit. Oh man, that made me sick to my stomach.
The Eagles are like little brothers. Like we had to let you guys win one, so you didn't quit.
Yeah, I mean, except for like, I was at the age where I was like drinking a beer bottle when they won, as opposed to the baby bottle you had when the Cowboys won. But I mean, all good. This isn't the football one. We're gonna get on that some other time. So I know you were I don't even know how to begin that part, but now tell me what.
That's the coolest I ever invented.
Yeah, these are basically that was another question I had. Like, what is it about me that makes me the most like amazing person in the world?
What is it about you that makes you the most amazing person?
Yeah.
The fact that you can still like all those shitty fucking sports teams and still be successful in life. Like,
oh man.
Fuck, always follow losers.
So you went through a lot of shit. A lot. What was the toughest shit you've had to go through? You can talk about musically or whatever, really.
Oh, man, I don't know because honestly, I feel like every time something harder happens, you're kind of like, fuck, I don't even know how I'm gonna get through this stupid shit. But I mean, when you start to be my age and then you go through the shit that you go through, like now when I go through certain hard things, it's just almost like, all right, cool. So this is going to be over soon and I'm going to be that much stronger for it. But I would have to say one of the toughest things for me growing up was constantly never being accepted and kind of always like, that's kind of what really turned me into hip hop, because like I grew up with a lot of people always asking me if I knew what color I was or why do I listen to rap or, like, why do you do the things you do? And Tupac being my main idol kind of just like I adapted that attitude. Like, fuck you, rebellious. You can't tell me shit. I do what I want. Like I don't need to be the fucking norm or fit in. I don't have to get good grades to fucking be successful in life and all that. And that was a tough fucking lesson for me to learn growing up because, I mean, when you're like 13, 14, sometimes I just remember days that I would look at other kids and be like, why can't I just be fucking normal? Like them, you know what I mean? Like, why can't I just like school, get good grades, fit in, have friends, do that type of shit? And like, I kind of had to really start to embrace who I was at a young age. I didn't have a lot of role models growing up, positive ones. It was my mom and my grandma. So I made a lot of dumb decisions hanging out with friends. But I did always make sure that like I knew music was what I wanted to do. And I knew like music was, like I would see my friends that are in gangs and go gangbang and stuff. And I'd be like, well, that's clearly not the right way to go. Seeing them getting locked up or killed, like music was always that one thing that kept me like, honestly, now that I'm older with a better outlook on it, I would have to say it saved my life in a way. Like at a young age, I always knew what I wanted to do. So I was never that person who had to be like 19, 20 and start searching like what was my purpose in life and who am I really and what, like I've kind of always just knew that shit. It was just the struggle of, I mean, anybody that follows their dream and doesn't take the, you know, that takes the road less traveled, I guess you could say, it's a fucking struggle.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I mean,
we've like music has saved us, and like the thing is like we both got through so much because of it, and I just
right.
don't think it's supposed to be out of either of our lives because I know you're going to Full Sail now. You're getting in the business side of things.
Yeah.
And back when you were doing everything, like all your shows, like you understood the branding and how to connect to people and get people to buy your music and come to your shows. But without knowing any of the business side and the actual marketing, people just kind of spin their wheels, you know?
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of things in school that I was kind of learning and, you know, I'd be like, oh, fuck, man, I was right on the right track. Like, and not even realize you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just doing
Mm-hmm.
it because it's natural to you. And then there might be like that one or two things in that same class that the teacher will drag out or something. It'd be like, and then this. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
bam, motherfuck, that's where I fucked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's where I started making the wrong mistakes. And then,
I mean, they really let you learn there too, because you're not doing like a bunch of like pointless homework or like just tests, like you have to memorize, pass, and go on. They have you do actual projects to get your hands on, and then they
yeah,
drill
yeah,
you with the marketing because like marketing is king. Everyone should know that. Like big companies spend millions and just upon millions on marketing, you know.
the greatest thing about marketing is convincing someone that they didn't. You have to be able to sell something to someone that they didn't even know they needed it or wanted it.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's very key is the best marketing is when people don't even really all the way understand they're being marketed to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of it's perfectly
You gotta
like like
like.
Tech Nine, for instance. I'll use him for an example because I know a lot of people know who he is now. But the way he marketed and did everything that he did to get to the point he is was fucking genius. It really was. Like he was different, and he knew that the Juggalos already accepted that kind of like different. You know, we don't give a fuck. We don't fit in with
Mm-hmm.
the society norm, and he I don't want to say piggybacked off that, but like he took that and then built what he built from them. And then he even like, you know, he stayed in his lane as a sense. And then what he did was is like he always wanted to work with Lil Wayne or do, you know, those type of people. And then instead of losing those underground fans, he knew the majority of Tech Nine fans don't really listen to hip hop all the way. So he could be like, I'm not going mainstream. Mainstream's going me. And his
Mm-hmm.
fans would believe that because they're not typically listening to like the Lil Waynes and the Crooked Eyes and the TIs and the, you know what I mean? So when they hear it with Tech, they think they're just trying to be a part of Tech. But really, Tech just marketed it in such a fucking great way that he got everybody behind it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that's what made him as successful as he is. Just an example.
Yeah,
But
you talked about
yeah.
Tupac and Tech Nine. Who were your biggest actual influences when you started music?
Well, Tupac was definitely and probably always will be the greatest artist ever to me. Like, I was in like fifth grade when he died, and I remember going upstairs and crying, and honestly being like, "That's not real. That didn't really happen." Like, I was waiting for the haha, you know, and it never came. But I started to kind of from there get into like No Limit Records,
Mm-hmm.
Cash Money, which then sort of turned into like DMX and Ja Rule. Uh, that was pretty good for me. I was never big into the West Coast hip hop like you are. You
Feel
know,
that.
like it was
I had that Cash Money chain, man. Come on.
yeah, I
Like I
had
still fuck with them a
no
little
limit.
bit back then. Yeah, no limit. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, you
I
know,
used to
play
listen to
basketball.
them. But yeah, like West Coast had me though. I love that. But yeah,
Uh,
DMX was huge. DMX was a huge inspiration to me. Like that was the hardest hip hop death I've. I mean, Hussein's was too a little bit, but there was a connection there. But at the same time, like DMX is different with DMX because I was gonna put out one more album and it was gonna be a mix between Nine Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine and DMX's Dark and Hell is Hot. That shit was gonna be like nothing nobody's ever heard. I even had Conductor make a beat with like Terrible Lie, like kind of sampled in the hook and shit. Like it was there, but I just never got back around to doing it. I got too mixed up in my new career and also all the music business stuff has been wild. But I mean,
right.
DMX, that shit hit me way different.
I would have to say when now this is a weird journey for me in music, but I got introduced to 3 6 Mafia. You know, the song Late Night Tip just came out. You know that song that I'm not the type to get involved. Yeah, yeah. And like when I heard that beat and just like the dark tone, like the dark overtone, almost demonic
Mm.
kind of, I was like, what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Like I fell in love with that shit instantly. And I mean, Scarecrow, Lord Infamous the Scarecrow, like
Yeah.
that dude was fucking amazing to me. And that's what actually introduced me to ICP in a weird way. Now, my neighbor used to listen to ICP, and so did my little brother. And I kind of got into it a little bit, but I was the type of kid, like, I was grounded my whole fucking life, like, my whole life.
Yeah.
So every time I had rap albums in the house, my mom was throwing that shit away. Like, if she found it, she was throwing it away, throwing it away. So, my ICP album got thrown away, and I kind of never really got back into the situation. Like I just, okay. Like the albums I was worried about getting back more were like, oh man, I gotta go get all my fucking Tupac albums again, or I
Mm.
gotta go get Ja Rule and shit. But then I noticed like all my friends around me were listening to ICP, and 3 6 Mafia started making a lot of songs with ICP.
Yo.
So it was almost like a crossover. Like I was hanging with them. We would listen to the 3 6 featuring ICP songs so we could kind of both be listening to what we want. And then it got heavy into ICP for a little bit. It was like that family feeling. Like just it was cool for me to, again, the rebellious, it was just like a different form of rebellion. ICP
Mm-hmm.
did shit so different that they were like, fuck you, I paint my face, I don't give a fuck, y'all think it's goofy, da da da. And you know just some of the love that people don't even know who you are. Like another juggler don't even know who you are and will walk up and, oh, what's up, fam? Oh, you need a little bit of cash. Here you go. Oh, what's up? You need a cigarette? Oh, you want to get high? Blah blah blah. Like I'm trying to help you have a better day. Just because we like the same
Right.
music, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I haven't.
That was wild.
I haven't
That was
got. I didn't get into that. I didn't get an ICP or any of the Juggalo stuff, but I have a lot of Juggalo friends, and like I know when I was out doing little mini tours with Sideways and shit, like Juggalos, different cities would just come up, what up, fam? Like, boom. They were acting like they already knew each other all the time, man. That's just crazy. People would talk
yeah.
shit. Like, there's people that would be like, or because I rapped and I was white, they thought I was a Juggalo, like, out of town. Like, they were mad at me about some shit. But, like, at the same time, it's like, why are you guys talking shit about Juggalos, man? Like, they just, like, they come together, like, as, like, a family. And I was like, and by the way, like, yeah, they talk about, some of them talk about chopping you up and doing all this killing you, doing all this crazy shit, and you think that that makes them soft because they're faking that they're gonna do that shit. But like, if I'm in trouble, my Juggalo friends are gonna beat the shit out of you if I want them to. Like it's like because they acted like I was family. I was. They all know I wasn't a Juggalo, but they all
As
acted like I was their family.
long, yep, as long as you show love.
You know?
And I went through a little bit of like that too, because like I was like, these motherfuckers painting their face like they ain't really gonna hit no one with an axe. But then I met some juggalos and I was like, this
Mm.
motherfucker probably gonna hit someone with an axe in the
And there
face.
are those, but I mean that's like any genre. Like there's some of those, but yeah.
I remember I was living in Deerfield, which is you know, out here in East Moline somewhere or whatever. And we was kicking it with a few friends. And homeboy was like, just out of nowhere, we're sitting in the backseat of the car. He's rolling this blunt up. And he goes, and this was just like shortly after the Adrian Reynolds shit happened. So he had knew who I was and, you know, like the involvement in it and all that shit. And he just goes, do y'all motherfuckers really just be chopping people up and hiding the body? And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, but he was like, for real, like, nuh-uh. Because the music, you know, like he didn't know nothing about it. And he's like, I hear the music and then I heard this situation that just happened. And I was like, oh, no, like that is not, that's not every, you know what I mean? Like, that was a rough time in my life. That was really in my life. Like having to go to court for that shit and like being really fucking confused because, you know, like Nate and Corey lived with me when that shit happened.
Wow.
And so here's some people that I was cool with and like didn't even know that the situation had happened. And then there was people trying to like, I don't know, man. There was people trying to like kind of halfway put that shit on me. Like some of my own friends even, you know, they'd be like, don't you think if you never slept with Adrian, this shit would have never happened? And I was like, damn, fuck you. You know, the news was always in our face. And I was just having my son Tech, you know, like literally in, like my baby's mom was pushing this kid out. And she was so mad at me because I'm standing here with a newspaper while she's pushing and I'm reading like all this messed up shit they're saying about me in the paper. And I was like mad about it. And she's like, you're having a fucking kid and you're worried about that shit? And I was like, yeah, I'm mad.
He's still like that, man.
Right.
You're out there checking what they said about you on YouTube and shit. Media's like that though. Media's like that, man. Like, and you know, I'm doing my 4 Words podcast where I do a story of my life, release it every Saturday, little segments. So I can't I can't spoil the media part of it, man. Trust me. Believe me, dude. They fucking they make shit up. People will interview just to get on the news that don't even know you, dude. It's fucked up, man. Don't believe the media, please. Like that shit.
Well, and it took me for the longest time to finally like just now start watching like that documentary shit about it on like E-Entertainment or whatever, you know. And they fucking lie. They lie.
Faking like you got a phone call and shit.
Yeah, I'm so important. So when they showed the house in Rock Island and they was like, this is the house that it happened in. And I'm like, no, it's not. That was the house me and my baby's mom moved into like 4 years after the fact. And I was like, that's crazy. They showed the house that me and Par started UGV in. And they was like, this is where it all took place. I'm like, that is not at all where it all took place, like at all. So, and I remember there being in the paper, because I had an ICP hoodie on when they did an interview with me, this news people, and they didn't put anything that me and that news reporter had talked about in the news. The only fucking thing that they were really saying was like, oh, he must think that this is just a big joke in a circus. He's got people on his hoodie with clown paint. His mother must be proud of him. And this is a disgrace to society. And I was like, wow, use me. And that's why like a lot of people don't know I was involved, because after that situation, I said, fuck all media and stop talking to them. Like E-Entertainment would call my phone. I would just hang up.
Yeah.
Fucking like, whoever, there was a few big ones, like news people, they'd be like, can we talk to you about that or done? I just be like, nope, I don't know shit.
Yeah, that's
like
good.
even Bickle, yeah, like I didn't want to talk to no news reporters. Like Bickle would even do interviews sometimes, and he would be like, bro, they're paying for me to go to California. Yeah, and I would be like, don't fucking tell them shit. And he would always be like, I know who Corey is. I could take you to him right now, but it's gonna cost you an extra $200.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I was like, I ain't fucking talking to nobody, bro. No, let that shit die. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for real. So speaking of dying, let's go back a little bit on some music shit quick. So I came and did your birthday party, I believe, and it was at like some like community center. I remember we got a little recording, man. I was up there and I'm like, I ain't scared to die. Why? And we did that shit. Like I have footage, so like I always think of this because there was one moment when you ran up on stage and you're like, apparently there's some motherfuckers here that want to shoot me and they said they're gonna kill me and blah blah, but fuck them. Like just straight, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like he doesn't give a fuck. Like shit was crazy. And like that shit, like you were saying, like that shit, people always see me just being loyal to everybody. They were like, you got beef with you? Boom, they fucking kicked me off all their social media. I don't even have to say anything. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Well, then you had that dumb shit out in Clinton, and dude said he was gonna shoot you, and he told your homie when he was out there, like showing him his gun, like I'm gonna shoot Crow with this and shit. And
Right.
if you, he's like, you better not come out to Clinton. And like we had a show like in 2 days, and we fucking, hey, I know what he looks like. All right,
Yeah.
so we went out there. Let's go
Oh.
look for him. And people were like, he was here. He must have seen us. Dude, dead. Like, but that shit, like, I don't know, man. You always had this luck, like this bad luck. Cause like where people are like, I don't know, man. So much
It's
shit
because
always
I'm
happening
fucking
to you.
opinionated. It's not a popular opinion because I'm not afraid to give my opinion, and a lot of the time it's not the most popular opinion.
Well, I mean,
And
that
I don't
dude's
get
girl got
offended.
a hold. That dude's girl got a hold of you, and
That
he wants
I
to
was
kill
gonna say that's
you.
what the whole thing was
Like
all
what?
about. Yeah, that's
I'm sure
the
she
whole
lied
thing was
about it,
over
but
because well, I guess the original reason why he got mad is because she bought a UGV shirt, she bought the sticker, and she bought a CD, and she wanted me to sign it. And I don't know if it's true, you know. I mean, bitches
and she
talk
never
all
listened to
types of
his
shit all
music
the time.
probably because he sucked.
Well, apparently she used to wear that shirt all the time to go to bed. And he got fucking mad, like, why you wearing his fucking shirt to sleep in and blah, 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 blah. And she's like, it's a fucking shirt. Like, why are you tripping? And then he would get all, you know, come at me on social media like, I'm gonna fucking kill you when you come in. I was like, bro, I didn't even do nothing but make money. Like,
He had people
come
confused as
on.
hell too because he was talking shit to me, and then he was like, oh, actually, man, I really did like that first. We were gonna do that song. He's like, and he's like, no, you fucking suck. Just like that. I'm like, oh. And then someone's like, he's on crack, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I heard that too. Somebody said that like he
I
started
heard it
getting
from
into some drugs
multiple
and stuff. And
people.
that's kind of when I was like,
Yeah. All right. Cool.
you
This is
know,
a crackhead. Like then we just went like moved right on.
right? Yeah.
So
it's not,
you're like, just like you have these nights like, man, that was that night you got pulled over across the way, and like me and Bickle were already like, hey, can anybody like come help bail this guy out? Like, we can't drive. Like, and then like all of a sudden the cops were like ran up to you and they give you your strip back, and they're like, all right, it's your lucky night. We just had a shooting in Rock Island and took off. And we're just like, what did he do? And you came over and you told us that shit. We're just like, wow. Man.
So yeah, like we were drunk as fuck and just left McManus, and what we didn't even go a block. Well, we went like a block down the street, and this fucking
It wasn't
cop,
far. Yeah.
it was like boom. And I'm like, oh, and the girl I was with, like there's not a lot of people in my life that like I went to grade school with that I still associate with, but she was one of them. And she kept being like, oh my God, Corey, you know, you can tell who's known me forever, but whatever. But she was like, Corey, oh my God, I got warrants. I got warrants. She's like, I'm really contemplating just running out of your car. And I'm like, I mean, bye.
Bye.
Like, they're gonna be like, who was that? And I'm like,
I don't know.
From the bar. I don't know that chick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, the cop's like, have you been drinking? And I'm like, Which he knew I was fucking lying. And I hand him the ID. I see you guys all standing on the corner. And then like 2 or 3 more cops run up and they just fucking throw my license in my lap. And they're like, there was just a gang shooting on the Rock Island Moline border. Today's your lucky day. Get the fuck out of here. And I was like, Yep, you ain't gotta fucking tell me shit. I told that bitch to drive and was like, I
And
parked my car and didn't move that shit for the rest of the night.
I mean, well, that's the other thing too. And I know, like, obviously drinking and driving is not good, but it was only like a block or two. Like, we were just literally just going like right there. Man, that shit, like, that was your luck at first, but you did get hella lucky on that, especially that girl.
I was gonna say, that's always been my luck. Like, I don't know how to explain it either, but how in the fuck you so unlucky to get caught within a block radius, but so fucking lucky at the same time
Yeah.
that nothing happened?
I mean, I kind of lost you one night at McManus, and like, you turned up, but you were like, yeah, I got stabbed last night, and like these, just some random shit. Like, you barely remembered any of that shit. Like,
Yeah. That
it's
was a
just,
rough night for me too.
I mean, there was times like, man, there was times you were like, I don't know, man. I think me and Ty about had to bring you back to life in my house one day, man. Like, shit was crazy, but
Yeah, there was a period in time. I don't know, like music with family life wasn't like everything had just ended for me. You know what I mean? Me and baby mom had just broke up and we were together for like 9 years. So like every day was make music with my kids. We go do shows. You know what I mean? So like when she left, Slit left UGV. I didn't see my kids anymore every day. Like
mm,
my entire fucking changed. You know, you're out how to fucking market UGV because there's no you. It's like, all right, and that was yeah, that
you're
was
in.
when I was like I don't fuck, start drinking all the time, like just rough. It was just rough.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
I
got
remember
rough,
falling through
man.
your
I got a
bedroom
little
door and
worried.
breaking.
I got a little
Yeah,
worried for a second, man. You about took my door frame all the way off, man. Like, we were like catching you, like, dude, you good? Like, we were
yeah.
both a little like worried about you, but like now, like, I know uh it's weird, a grown man saying to another grown man, but I've been fucking proud of you though, because like you got your kids, like, you don't really drink, like, you don't do
I didn't
drugs.
do
What's up,
right.
dude? You're like kind of breaking up too. I hope that's not
Oh,
fucking the stream up.
he said I drink like 3 beers now and get a fucking hangover the next
Hell yeah.
day.
But now you
Like
got,
what?
I mean, you got that. You're getting married. You're going to school. Like, you're doing, you really did it. Like, you went from like the improbable from so much, like all the shit you went through growing up and like ever since, like for you to be where you're at now is amazing. Like, that's cool as hell, man. Like, I love hearing that shit, especially like my people, man. We're just moving up together,
Right.
Everybody's leveling up together. We're all making it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm a very firm believer of you are what the fuck you hang with.
Yeah.
And like, if you're hanging around with a bunch of drug dealer, fucking gangbanger, that's all you're ever gonna fucking be. Because that's all you
Hmm.
know. Because that's all around you. That's all that everybody you're kicking with is doing it. And like, I think in a sense, like it helped me build on that. Like being around people who were trying to be successful as well. You know what I mean? Like Ogre was trying to do things to be successful. And like I know you were going back to school before, I had even thought of whatever. Like Terrence was starting to push himself a little bit more. And I was kind of in that stage of figuring out, like, all right, I got this new kid coming, fucking CME had just got robbed a shit ton of money
You're right.
by
Yeah.
yeah, and that was another tough turning point because I was also dealing with a lot of like oh man, I'm 29 years old now and I'm about to be 30 and I'm still just doing these little bar shows and little Midwest tours. Every now and then we might run out to fucking Cali or down to Oklahoma or you know,
Mm.
but never really much outside of the Midwest. And like I think I got inside my own head a little bit too much. Like, fuck it. Like I ain't losing my kids this time. I ain't doing all this. I need to do something. I'm gonna go back to school. Like if Riplak did the shit, then I can fucking do the shit. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
no, and I
saying? Like,
suck. Yeah, and I sucked at school, man. But I told you, like, we've talked about it, man. Like the shit, like music is what we're supposed to do. So
right.
I mean, what else is there? Just get better at that. Get better and like, and I told you, like, there's a lot of shit that's gonna tie in that you already know and you've been through. Like that management class is like, what do you do when your car breaks down, or what do you do? Sometimes you're gonna run into a time when the DJ doesn't show up or the fucking sound doesn't work, and all of a sudden you're just like, what do you mean? Like, I thought that was just part of it. Like, you
Yeah, there
know,
was a few classes where I'm like, I don't even think I really need to pick up the book in this class.
right? No, it's class like that. I was like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, like I got this friend Skarekrow, and every time we get in the car with him, the car would break down, or like, like, oh, oh yeah. And then that time I went to open for Do or Die, and the DJ didn't show up, or like, this is like, I had him
You're
all
right.
day. Like I could have just stood up front and been like, all right, I'll teach today. Like what the fuck?
We did a show one time. We was up in it wasn't really Milwaukee, maybe it was like outside Milwaukee somewhere or whatever. And it was supposed to be Bone Thugs and Harmony, and Busy Bone didn't show up. Like I guess he was drunk, no one could get a hold of him, dude wasn't showing up. So like nobody of Bone showed up. And we were close enough to Chicago to where the show promoter had to be like, I hope everybody ain't mad, but I just got a hold of Crucial Conflict and they're on their way up here. So can you go up there and fill about 45 minutes of time to help these motherfuckers get here? And I was like, I mean, yeah, sure. And it was dark. It was like starting to rain. The show was outside. We were like set up on this flatbed trailer truck with the speakers and shit. And I'm like, bro, this show is about to be a fucking mess.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, it worked. It came out perfect.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, this
I was
shit's
picking on
crazy.
some dude that night. This shit was hella funny because I was sitting in my car smoking, and I was watching this dude stand on the corner, and he had a little hype man with him, and guy was like, yo, check this out, my dude freestyle, check this out, blah, blah, blah. And I noticed this dude was just rhyming the same 3 verses every time to different people in a different order. And I was like, yo, spit something we ain't heard before. It was like started harassing him and shit. He's like, you want to battle rap? And I was like, nah, man. And I was like, it blew me away. I'd never seen a hustle like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the time I hadn't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
how is people not just rapping the same 3 verses?
Yeah.
What?
Damn.
That was a fun night too.
Yeah.
That was a fun night too.
Yeah, I do miss those days.
I got a lot of speaking about that birthday show we did, that was the night, like my first show ever. It was actually at a mini gathering at Black Hawk State Park. And reason being for that is because, I mean, you probably know as well as anybody at our age that had been doing hip hop, there was no such thing as, oh, you're a hip hop artist? Sure, come on in and perform at our venue. No, that was not. As soon as they heard rap, hip hop, anytime, they were like, nope, we don't want that kind of drama. It's like, yep, done. So we had to find creative marketing. So all you young new rappers out here being like, oh, I jump on these shows and da da da. Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, we tried hard. We got that shit kickstarted again.
Bust our ass hard, yeah.
We did.
But like, it was a little bit easier for me because, you know, I had the yarn with the braids and, you know, dreadlocks and shit like that. So I started coming up with clever ways to tell people like, oh, we're like a alternative underground hip hop scene. And people would be like, alternative underground? And they'd be like, so, and I'm like, you know, like a Linkin Park type. So, and they'd be like, oh yeah, okay. Now that you mention it, you kind of look like you could be in the band Korn. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's who we're like.
Korn. Yeah, that's who I am. Yep, cool. So we got the venue? And they would be like, yeah, you know, cool. And I didn't give a fuck after that point because my mentality was, I don't care if I got to lie, do whatever to get myself into the venue. We're in the venue and we got to use it that one time. And if they never let us use it again, fuck it, at least we got it once. We wasn't ever going to get it anyway.
Right.
So, and like, it actually helped. Like people would be like, "Oh, do you remember Apollo's in Clinton?
Mm-hmm.
That venue, Apollo's,
I
that place."
performed there a lot back in the day.
I remember the first time I performed there. Well, the bar owner came to me and he was like, "So a bunch of people tell me you're the man to talk to book shows around here." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm not from here. You know, like I'm from East Moline." And he was like, "No, that don't matter. I'll pay you." And I was like, "All right, you know, like fuck it, we'll give it a shot, whatever." First fucking show, we had like half the Quad Cities, well, not really half the Quad Cities, but we had a bunch of people come follow us to the show. The cops show up, a fight breaks out. The cops tasered somebody, some random chick I didn't even know was like pulling on my arm. She's like, "What am I supposed to do? That's my ride." And I'm like, and the owner's like, "The police want to talk to you outside, out back with me. Come on quick." And I'm like, "Oh my fucking God, this guy's never gonna, he's gonna be like, fuck him." You know what I mean?
I
So
was
we go outside.
there.
The cops were pretty cool about this. You were at that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, see his
I
logo,
took out the
see?
front door when the cops got there. I wasn't even fucking with it.
Dude was like, uh, I told the cops, I was like, "Sorry about that. I didn't know a fight was gonna break out. I can't control everybody's actions." And they knew that, they were like, "This is just the most we've ever seen anybody at this place in a long time." So we figured, what the fuck is going on here? We might as well swing through. But when the police left, I look at the owner and I'm like, "Damn, I'm sorry about that, man. Like, I didn't know that was gonna happen." And he's like, "Oh no, you're fine. You can come back anytime you want,
Nice.
whenever, regardless." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." I knew a girl out there. She bartended there. And so we stayed the night in Clinton. And the next day we went back to the bar. And me and Bickle were like, "Yo, can we get a Bud Light?" Or yeah, we were like, "Can we get Bud Light?" And she's like, "We don't have any more." I'm like, "You don't have any more?" And she's like, "We got 2 whole keg orders." Or something, like she's like, "We ordered new stuff on Thursday. Y'all came through on Saturday and killed it. So we're gonna be out of
Yeah.
Bud Light again next Thursday." And I
Yeah.
was like,
That's what's up.
"I can't believe it." And I was like, "That's why your fucking owner didn't care the cops showed up."
Yeah.
Like, and
um,
that it was little things like that though that started really getting me connected into the business side of it.
mhm.
That's when I started realizing, like, "Oh, so y'all made a bunch of money. Okay, can I write that down? Can I?" So when I talk to other venues, I'd be like, "Check this out. We've done here and here. We average this many people. Like this is the average amount of alcohol sales that we make your bar when we bring an event." And it was great selling points to people. Not to give away too many secrets of the trade, but it
Right.
was really great points for people, and
That's
I
the
love it.
that's like my group. My group, like when I get people to these shows and events, like I got a good crowd, man, and like they buy alcohol, like they buy rounds and they buy shots, and I mean
Right.
that shit always has people coming back. Like they always want me to come back because like even if it's not like a ton of people, they still buy a fuck ton of alcohol and like food, anything they got, and then they're all fun, they're all like happy people. That's the environment. Because like I went
Right.
through that shit with you. Like I went through that. Like, hey, can I do a show? What kind of music? Hip hop? No, we don't do that
Yo.
kind of music. Or nothing. And then like all of a sudden, I had to find my way in through opening for a band, and then like I kind of went through figuring out how to talk to people through a whole bunch of no's, and then like we were on different sides, like building it up together, and then we like came together. So I just want to talk about another thing.
What we was
What's up?
And so we both kind of knew what we were doing a little bit more at that point. So
Right.
it was like my people.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we were traveling more, doing bigger shows, making more money. Um, so there's probably a lot of people on here that like haven't heard about you for a while. You got off social media years ago.
Yeah, fuck social media.
uh is it because all the drama, except for then you went to YouTube to fight with people, but um
Right.
so yeah, are you ever getting back on social media or what?
I am. I mean, the main reason I stepped off YouTube or Facebook was really because the way I put it is I'm too much of an over and opinionated asshole in a world full of fucking super sensitive pussies. Like it blows me the fuck away the shit people are offended at these days. You know what I mean? Or like just how much people don't think for them fucking selves anymore. Like I remember when like I don't know, like Pride Month or something, and everybody put their little rainbow fucking color picture, and I'm like, bro, you ain't gay. And they'd be like, I'm just showing support. I'm like, you're just fucking being stupid. And then like I would get attacked for real because it's not the popular opinion. And I'm like, bro, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying that I'm necessarily right and that you're necessarily wrong. I'm just saying that's my opinion on why I don't do
You
it.
just
You know what I mean? Like,
and you just can't not say anything or what? like
yeah, that
like
was
I just
really
don't
hard.
say shit. I'm just like whatever, man. I don't care. I don't want to get in
That
these arguments.
was really it was hard for me for a long time. Like I always felt like I had to get the last word, or somebody say something stupid and I would tell them why that was fucking stupid.
When you get
um
back on, just do like business shit or something, man.
and
That's
that's what
it.
I had to do. I kind of had to step back and I mean I guess just grow a little as a person, and I guess more mature, get older, and kind of realize that like, bro, I don't give a fuck what these fucking people think. You know what I mean? Like, and I
Yeah.
don't I don't have to engage with all that. Like that's cool. Let them do them. If it's not making me any money, if it's not fucking concerning my family or any of that shit, then what the fuck ever. But that's really like that's kind of hard to see sometimes when you're in the middle of that shit, and like you've had social media forever and you've been doing social media and that's what everybody else around you's doing, and goes back to that, the people you hang and do with. But like it almost can become your life. Like your life is that, like, oh my god, I'm arguing with people all the time on this for stupid opinion, and then it just
I
wasn't
have been
worth it,
there to
man.
where like
The
if I let that shit get to me on my daily, like there's been times where I back off of it for a while because like or like I actually realized like something that really helped me was just unfollowing those like racist people or like even if it's like borderline, it's like I'm like I just can't. I don't know, like it's just shit like that, like or just negative ass people. Like if they're not just calling out for help, because I'll check up on them, but like just negative people. And man, there was one I remember when I realized that I unfollowed a whole bunch of negative people. My days, like I figured out like a few days, I'm like, why have I been in such a good mood? And I'm like, oh, because I don't see that shit all the time.
See, and like that's a very good point, because stepping back out of it, I see it the same way. I'm like, I got like 3,000 friends on my friends book on Facebook or something, and I know like 20 of them in
Mm.
real life. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck are all these other people that are totally irrelevant to me in my life? um, and that the kind of the final straw with me for that too was, you know, we had signed that distribution deal, and I was setting up a tour, and the first tour everybody backed out on, and I was like, motherfucker. So we set up the second tour, and a homeboy of mine, like I reached out to a homeboy to fucking that I've known for like 10 years, and he had just got out of prison, and I knew that he was kind of been around music all the time. And so I was like, bro, if you need a job and you want a job, this is the perfect opportunity. I'll teach you how to set shows up and make tours. So that way I can focus back on just being the artist and not doing the
Yeah.
shows and show promoting and fucking putting tours together and doing all that, you know what I mean? And he ended up walking away with thousands of dollars of CME's money. And some of that money was a part of what artists for that tour had sent to the bank account to fucking get. But what threw me off was that same motherfucker started hitting me up on social media with the group of people that I was setting the tour up for. You know what I mean? So like I got really confused. Like, wait a minute, how are y'all working with the same dude that just robbed me, and y'all are all mad at me for the situation? Like, and so
Yeah.
instead of just making assumptions or going off the dumb end or doing any of that shit. I was like, y'all can work with him, let him rob your ass. I'm done with this fucking shit. I'm going back to school. I'm gonna make sure this shit never fucking happens to me again.
Yeah.
Boom. Like,
Yeah.
I had to learn to cut the bad
It's
people out of my fucking life. Like,
it's a dirty game, man. And you got to cut out all those people that just fucking drag you down, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I had to,
just,
yeah.
and that's what I mean. We all got to do it, because otherwise, those are not the people you want around. It's so crazy, because like now, man, now I talk to my people, and it's just all the time. Everyone's like, something good's happening or moving up, you know, like, and that's what it motivates me more.
My dog
So
crying at me. We all know how they get when they get angry.
yeah, that dog's gonna bite you.
But yeah, man, I feel you. Like, it's true. It's true. I know my dog will tell me she hate me and she'll bite me. Because she, the dumbest pit bull alive. But when other people see her, they're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh, God, stop. Trust me, she's dumber than your fucking 2-year-old.
Yeah, she's my dog's dumb as hell, man. We'll just have to put them in the same room. We'll put them in the same room and see how much they outdumb each other.
Oh man, I would love to see Bella and Vaitai in the same room together. That would be a glorious day, my friend.
I don't think they would live through
the house.
So I'm not really sure what else I got to talk about. I think we covered a lot of shit. So,
right.
Dude, you're like, I hope you're not like lagging out like in real life. You don't froze. Like your video froze.
Like not lagging. Oh shit, yours just did too. Okay, now the head.
Dude, your shit's so fucked right now. Can you hear me? All right. Anyway, I don't think he's coming back. Yeah. Oh, it just says Crow now. Well, as usual, it was a nightmare to talk to him. I kind of hear the birds chirping now. Oh shit, I wasn't saying that, man. Hey, can you fucking hear me? Dude, you're so fucking lagged out right now. Okay. I gotta stop. What?
No, and keep just.
All right, now I can kind of hear you. But I'm gonna wrap this shit up. And as I was saying, as usual, it was a nightmare to talk to you. You just made my life not worth living, because so cringy. No, I'm playing. But
everyone is now dumber for having heard this interview.
Yep. Shit was fun though, man. I'm sure we'll be popping on a little more and we'll just talk about some other bullshit. But yeah, thanks for your time.
Someday we'll have to get like really depth about the life shit.
Do what?
No problem. I said someday we're gonna have to get like really in depth about, life.
Oh yeah, I'm down. Like
we're gonna have to get all philosophical.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll give them one of those.
Right.
All right.
But social media is my nightmares coming back for sure.
Yes.
Look out for me.
Yeah, it should be fun, whatever way that is. All right. Talk to you later.
Yep.